Okay, we'll start with the Scott Thompson decision. What did you make of that when you first saw it?
We've deemed it to be an error by the umpire. The questions you have to ask, was it a hand in the back? No, it wasn't a hand in the back. There was a bit of a touch on the shoulder. Was it a push-out? No, it wasn't a push-out either. Because for it to be a push-out, there needs to be a degree of force, there needs to be a straightening of the arm, and we can see a visible push-out. But in this case, no, it wasn't hands in the back, and it wasn't a push-out in a marking contest. A little bit of incidental contact on the shoulder, but certainly not a push-out. So it was a mistake by the umpire, and our coaches have spoken to Ray about that, and he was comfortable with it as well. So just a mistake in this situation.
There's been a little bit of confusion this week about the push-out rule. Can you use your forearms, or is that banned as well?
You can use your forearm as a bumper bar, just to put it up if players are coming back on you, but you can't extend it out and push that out to push someone out of the way. So you can use it there, hold your ground with that, but you can't push it out. And the clubs know that, and we often see players do it. We saw Gunston do it really well with Mullet last week. So you can use your forearm, providing you don't push them out or get rid of them with that arm.
Were you surprised during the week? A couple of players like Tom Rockcliffe, for instance, from Brisbane, came out and said he'd never heard of that rule before. Does that surprise you?
It does surprise me because, I've been to Brisbane personally myself, not in the last couple of years, but I think Hayden Kennedy went there the last couple of years. But every year we show the DVD, and it's very clear on the DVD. So it gets talked about, quite clearly on the DVD, and when we're instructing the clubs, it says you cannot push, bump, block, hold or interfere with the arms in marking contests. So it's been around for 10 years on DVDs, we've explained it to clubs, so that surprises me a little bit. So it may be time some of the clubs went back, revisited the DVD, showed it to their players just as a reinforcement.
There's a bit of a school of thought at the moment that maybe the interpretation has been tightened up this season. Would you agree with that, or do you think that this has been around for quite a while?
No, I can't agree with that because, whilst I don't coach the umpires, I sit in and hear what the coaches say, and nothing's changed this year. I'll repeat again, you cannot push, bump, block or hold or interfere with the arms in marking contests, and to be frank, nothing has changed. But I think what happened with the Ben Reid one on Anzac Day, we saw Ben complain straight away. We saw Nathan get upset about the decision. And I think people jumped to conclusions thinking, that must have been a wrong decision. But I think everybody who knows that that was a push out in a marking contest. That was different. It was two arms, push out, arms extended, push bell chambers out. So if, that would have been different if Ben had just given the ball back knowing that he had pushed out. But I think people became a little bit confused after that.
Okay, we'll finish on a slightly odd one. A few Port fans were a little bit confused when they saw the umpire pat Daniel Wells on the backside after he kicked a goal. What did you make of that one? Yeah,
well, I guess when we first see it as well, you think, gee, that's a bit odd, that's a bit unusual. So obviously we check with the umpire, check the vision, check the audio. Unfortunately for umpire Shane McInerney, when he was setting Daniel Wells up on his mark, he actually said Lindsay, he called him Lindsay. So he called him the wrong name. So as he was walking in, he didn't want to apologise to him then as he was walking in to kick. So after he'd actually made the kick and kicked the goal, he went to him and apologised, said sorry about that. And in doing so, he inadvertently put his hand out and made a little bit of contact. So we asked the umpires not to touch or make contact with the umpires because, the same thing said to the players about making contact with the umpires. But look, in this case, it was very innocent. He called the player the wrong name and he immediately wanted to apologise. He just touched him and said, look, I'm sorry, Daniel.